Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Trapper Markelz, the COO of Beamable, and I'm here with a bunch of the team that's been working closely with Eastside Games on using Beamable inside of a new title called Archer Danger Phone.
Danger
And yeah, I'm here
phone.
with Ali, Alistair, Brandon, and Chris. Why don't you guys let us all know kind of what you do and what you've worked on the game? Start with Ali.
Hey, I'm Ali. I'm the CTO at Beamable. Yeah, we help ship Archer. We're helping ship other games. It's been fun following it along. So these days, it's mostly making sure that all's well and that Archer game is thriving and healthy.
Nice, Alistair.
Yeah, so I'm Allister, Devops Engineer at Beamable. I work on making sure that the servers are up and running and well monitored, well scaled, and so that they can just do what they need to when they need to.
Nice, Brandon.
Hi, I'm also a DevOps engineer here at Beamable. I do a lot of what Alistair just mentioned as well. And I just want to say I'm excited to finally see this product out the door.
Yeah, no, we've been cranking on it for a while here. And Chris.
Yeah, I'm Chris. Hello. Software engineer at Beamable. Help work on some of the server features. So that's what I do.
Nice. Cool. So yeah, as everybody is aware, Archer Danger Phone,
Danger
built by
phone.
ESG and a great team, and a great team over there. And yeah, we run a whole bunch of backend infrastructure for it and server features, and so just kind of wanted to step through some of those and kind of hear from you guys, directly from the trenches on some of the behind the scenes on kind of what's in there, what Beamable's doing to make Archer. Make the Archer experience for players. So let's first kind of start with identity. Beamable has an extensive kind of player identity and player data system. Kind of what aspects of that are being represented here inside of Archer?
A lot of different things. I mean, you can see my screen right now on my device. I'm playing the game. You can see a few different things. So up here, we've got the store. This is all powered by Beamable, including a variety of simple and sophisticated commerce functionality. Things like being able to sell things for virtual currencies, being able to sell things for real currency, for real money, as you can see over here. This Lana offer. Being able to have short-lived offer, limited time offers, being able to have price schedules so that multiple purchases of the same virtual currency offer sees the price go up gradually. Targeted offers so that if you enter an event or you reach a certain critical milestone, or if you happen to need martinis very urgently, that you get presented with a really compelling offer to purchase martinis. So that's just
urgently.
Yeah. I think we all do.
So Ali, if I forgot my Android phone at home, but I wanted to play on my iPad that I have with me, can I do that?
Absolutely, that's part of our identity system. So thanks for the setup, Alistair. Basically, we have the ability to have frictionless login, sign in with email and password, with like all of the things that you sort of need and want and your players expect, but you don't necessarily want to spend time on, since that's not a core differentiator. But just being able to go to the account menu here and sign in with email and password, sign in with Facebook. In this particular case, I am signed in with Facebook. Do all of that stuff, recover on multiple devices, your account progress. So that's a key part of just sort of getting started and getting rolling. And then based on that foundation, all kinds of other things are built. One of the key things is content. I don't know if somebody else wanted to speak to that.
Why don't you keep going, Ali? You're on a roll.
Going? You got it. Yeah. So one of the key aspects. I mean, you're seeing a bunch of content in this game. It's a very content-rich game. It's got all kinds of little dialogues and quests and all of that stuff. And part of what we do at Beamable is provide a content scaffolding so that you can deploy content out of bands with client releases. So in particular, in a live operated game where you can see over here that I'm actually currently playing an event. Having events on a regular basis is a really key part of monetization and of having a successful launch and a successful lifetime for a game. And so this ends up meaning that you have to deploy content on a very regular basis. Archer, for instance, runs events nearly every single day. They have mini events over the course of the week and a longer event over the course of the weekend. So being able to deploy that content, stay up to date with it, debug it via a portal, all of that stuff requires a fair amount of, it takes, sort of a simple feature and makes it far more complex, and it layers on, the need for tooling and for having a centralized portal. And so all of that stuff is provided by Beamable so that you can really focus on gameplay. And so all the gameplay that you see here, that's very unique to Archer. That's stuff that and to Eastside Games. That's functionality that they own and that they focus their time on. But things like being able to deploy content out of bands with client releases, also orchestration of events, starting an event, transitioning a phase, ending an event, doling out rewards, partitioning a leaderboard, viewing your position on the leaderboard. All of those things are, a bunch of work and require a fair amount of effort to get right and to get at the level of sophistication that a game like this requires. And so for us to be able to take that over and offer, sort of just the ability to use the feature out of the box and focus on the core gameplay, that's what we want to unlock. And we believe that will help democratize the games industry and really allow for more innovation to rise to the top.
Yeah, the other aspect, I mean, events, right? They happen, on a schedule. The players expect them. I think we have a saying internally, right, which is like triple traffic Thursday when events go live on Thursday. Brandon, can you speak to sort of some of the server operational challenges there around like scaling automatically to support those giant increases in load that we see kind of when an event starts on Thursday, when an event resolves on Monday? Talk about some of the work we've done with ESG to ensure that Beamable can support that.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So our backend that handles all of the stuff that you're seeing today is a microservice architecture and ECS in AWS that is fully scalable. And the way we do that is through our auto scaling rules. For one, that's just our basic scaling. So if there's any spike in traffic at what am I looking for? What am I saying here? Time that we weren't really expecting, we'll automatically scale out or in, depending on the usage that the game needs at that time. But with something like you mentioned with the triple traffic Thursday, that's an expected increase in traffic. So we actually can just go in and make scaling rules for those events for any of the games that come out, specifically for Arch, where we have, as you mentioned, a known schedule of when those events are going to start. So we just go in there and actually create scaling rules for these type of events to make sure that we have the bandwidth on our platform backend available for all the requests that are coming in.
Yeah. Cool. And Allister, you were sort of the point person on the Beamable side for the ESG team, kind of through all of this. Like, what were some of the big things that you guys worked through as a team to get this thing over the finish line?
So yeah, that was an interesting thing because originally all of the infrastructure, the servers and the build systems for Archer were within Beamable control, but as the Archer team was sort of taken under the umbrella of Eastside Games, all of that needed to move over to another AWS account, and so we needed to take the database and all of the server infrastructure and all the build systems, and so it was sort of a process of figuring out which things we could move first. So the internal testing environments and the build system that gets us from source code to a playable game on devices, those were the first things that we could move, and then the database was the kind of biggest, trickiest, hairiest thing. And so we actually had to schedule some downtime to make the database, make a backup of the database, restore it in the new place, and then get everything up and running 100% efficiency with those new resources.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And Chris, like, what's sort of the biggest thing you kind of learned or tackled when you were involved in this project?
I think Ali already mentioned it, but between the identity and the content management, those are the things that I've had the most experience with. Like just watching the folks at ESG work with that, it's been pretty cool. And like a lot of the stuff in the game, you can really drill back down to those base features. I think something that maybe Ali like said so quickly, but it's so powerful, is that the identity is like out of the gate, you get it. When your players start the game, they have an account and they're good to go. And like everything that they see is all about that account. So like everything in that shop is tied to them.
Yeah.
So just underscore that part of it. It's pretty cool.
Nice. So now that the game is out, and it's ramping up this week, what are some of the things that Beamable is going to be focusing on in the coming weeks and months with ESG, just to continue to support the game and grow the game and help make it a success?
Yeah, so I can speak to that a little bit. So there's a whole bunch of publishing tools that we offer as well. Things that aid in the live operations of a game. It's certainly one thing to build a game. It's a whole other to live operate a game. You need community features. You need the ability to service community requests. You need the ability to publish news. So one of the upcoming features that Archer is actually plans to release next is announcements. And announcements is effectively the equivalent of news. So it's you can log into the game if there's a maintenance event or if there's a new client release or whatever. You can have announcements, and these announcements can not only inform you and give you information, but they can also have expiration dates and rewards attached to them. So you can say something, for instance, and they can be targeted as well. So you can say, for instance, I want an announcement that's published that's only targeted to players who have exceeded level 4. And that ties into our stats system. You can also say, for instance, I want to put up an announcement that says, hey, we've got a new client release, and by the way, if you update the client, you're entitled to a reward, but only once you upgrade the client. So you can sort of upgrade the client, come back into the game, and now you see a different announcement that says, hey, thanks for upgrading. Here are some gems, or here are some in this case martinis, that might make the experience, it makes it easier on the developers to encourage adoption of a new client.
Yeah.
So that's one set of features, but more broadly, one of the things that may have been glossed over is that, we actually did have a participation in the development of this particular game, prior to Beamable, when we were Disrupt-to-Beam. So we understand it pretty intimately. And so what Allister spoke to earlier, the migration of database, that's not something that we would normally do. That's something that we do specifically because this game was hosted on our infrastructure. And now it's fully in the hands of Eastside Games, who is the publisher and developer of the game. But Eastside Games, our relationship with them goes back, quite a bit. And one of the things they have is a really awesome SDK called IdleKit, which they've licensed out to a bunch of other developers to make idle games like Archer, like Trailer Park Boys, and many others. And so what we're doing is we're equipping IdleKit with a Beamable integration such that any developer that wants to adopt IdleKit gets the benefit not just of IdleKit, but also the integration with our portal, the integration with our identity system, with content, and all of that. It's kind of supercharges it into not only a client authoritative framework that is compelling on its own, but into a fully managed system where there is server authoritative functionality, and all of that stuff is backed by Beamable.
Yeah. No, it's going to be cool. Good stuff. Well, I want to keep you guys. There's a lot of work on Archer to do. So thanks for taking a break from your day to look at the game a little bit and go under the hood and hear some of the stories. So definitely go check out Archer. It's available in the app stores now. And watch our website and our YouTube channel for more information and more behind the scene looks. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trapper.
Thank you all.